What's up, everybody? Almighty N here. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to talk about my second campaign, second session of the campaign. And this happened about a month ago, maybe a month and a half. And it was a good one. We had a lot of fun. Here we go. Hit that intro. Oh, like always, like, comment, and subscribe. Alright, guys. So, my second session of my second campaign I'm running was a pretty good one. I mean, we really enjoyed this one. I mean, especially with that the last thing that happened in the last campaign. I don't think I told this part. So I don't know. I have to go back and watch it, but I'm not gonna do that now. I'm already shooting the video. So what happens is, and a lot of people enjoyed this. So the floor, they're fighting, the Seven Sanctum. They kill all the guards, and yeah, actually I didn't get into this because this is the last part of the last one. So the beginning of this session begins with they just killed all the guards, all the like Seven Sanctum people, heavy armored, black armor, a couple cultist members, like members of the group that are just wearing like robes with the hoods. And we have a wizard sitting on top. And so they go into fight, they kill everybody, and the floor starts to shake. Then they get zapped by lightning, bam, everybody takes massive damage. Everybody's almost down. And the floor starts to glow, shake, flash of light, boom, everything goes black, and they awake in the new land that they're in. So as they're laying in this field, they look up, and I mean, they can see mountains in the sky, like mountains and rivers and forests, all in the sky. And it turns out that they're in Bytopia. I knew this, but they didn't know at the time. So a fisherman comes running up to them. He saw everything from the lake, and he's like, "Hey, are you guys all right?" And they're just like still out of it, woozy, dazed. And our human wizard, Luther, his name's Luther, he did not trust this guy, because when I told him they were laying in a field, I didn't explain that there was a lake near this field. So he saw it from the lake while he was fishing, but he thought that he was fishing in the field, which it turned out to be a real funny encounter because of this. But he did not trust this guy as far as he can throw him. It was funny. Oh my God. So he tells them, where they're at, and, if they need any information, to head to the bar, the Murky Star, which his brother runs. And, he's like the town gossip. He knows everything that goes on. He'll be able to give them information on how to get back home, whatever. Well, actually, I don't think they gave him too much information. So they go, and then they tell this guy, everything. And he tells them that the only people that might be able to help them is the church. So that's like their next goal, is to go to the church. They're in this big town, and that's like their next goal, is go to this church and figure this out. So they want to eat and like get their health, even like their health back up and rest. So they're eating, and they ask the guy, what does he have to eat? And it's beef stew. Okay, that's all he serves there. And it was like funny, and it ran into more games after that. So beef stew is like our little inside joke in our table, which is gonna be fun because your table will always have these little stupid inside jokes that are funny to you guys, and that's what makes these games fun. Okay, I'm actually gonna be posting a video on like a little bit of our campaign that we ran, about an hour of it. It was fun, guys. You'll see when the video's out. Hope you guys watch it. So anyways, so they head to the church. The priest is dead. There's one of his like under priest or whatever you want to call him, clergyman, I don't know. He's right there like, like holding him, and then he just yells at them like, "Help," like they went down into the catacombs. So they rush into the catacombs. And as they rush into the catacombs, like good old D&D, the door slams behind them, locks, and they go down the stairs. And as they get up to the next door, a hole opens in the floor, 10-foot hole, okay? And they're like pretty much in a small space, all of them crammed, and they try and open the door. When they open the door, a hand comes out and pushes them. Boom! I got this trap from Wally DM. He's a great person, great YouTuber. Go check him out. A lot of traps, a lot of puzzles. He's really good. I used 2 puzzles and traps from him in this game. So, actually, maybe even more. I don't even know. I used a couple from him in this game. I like to do puzzles and traps. So, they fall in the hole. They all take a little bit of fall damage. They're all landing on each other. And then they head to, well, actually, so they're trying to figure this out, and this takes forever. Like, not forever, but it took long enough to where it was still funny for me. I was laughing. They didn't know what was going on. Every time they opened the door, they got pushed into the hole, and it wouldn't stop. And they were even trying to climb out the other way, which I like put like a barrier there so they would get electrocuted. So they were just like stuck getting like pushed and electrocuted. Finally, our half-orc barbarian, with like an intelligence of like 6, he runs up to the door. He plays that so well. Our barbarian plays that so well that he's stupid. And he goes up and he's like, I karate chop the door. So he karate chops it. Bam! And it makes like a knock. Like, and when that happens, the door swings open. Now it's called the knock door. And you just have to knock on it. So the voice in there says, thank you. And it opens the door. And then they go through. So now they're in this dungeon. They search a couple rooms. They find some keys. Then they end up in a big room. And there's like piles of skeletons around, like bones and stuff. And there's a big chest. And as soon as one of them touches the chest, these skeletons spring to life. And now they have to fight these skeletons. They dispatch the skeletons. And I actually have a video on this, what happened here. But I'm not going to get into that again. So if you want to watch that, it's my problem player video. Check it out. So they finally get the key in the hole. They didn't look at it. They just kind of start shoving keys in there. They had 3 keys. And they literally used the wrong key twice before they figured out it was a 3rd key. Which they would have known if they would have looked at the lock instead of just I shoved the flower key in. I forget what the other key was. And now I shoved the skull key. So there was a skull on the lock. That would have been an easy figure out, but problem player. So they move on. They go to the next room. There's like some statues. They have to figure out a puzzle there. And I'm not going to get into all that. I don't want to make this video too long. And they figure that puzzle out. They head to the next room. And here is where they find a piece of, they fight some like cultist members. And then they find like a stone tablet with a poem on it. And they had already found another poem, forgot to mention, in another room in a book that was like open to that page. And it was a poem about like time. Everything was about time. So then they go to this next one, and it's another thing about time, like a raven, 7 years, and stuff like that. Like, so there was like, a man, a dragon, a raven, a tree, stuff like that. And it was all about like pretty much how long they live and stuff like that. Or pretty much all of it was like how long they live or how long they last. So they go to that room, and our half-orc smashes the tablet with this big golden axe he has. Smashes the tablet, a million pieces scattered everywhere. They leave the room and they head to another room. They fight. So as they enter this room, there was traps on the way. Our wizard is poisoned. He got hit with the poison dart in the neck. He's poisoned, taking like 2d6 per round or something. And so now they enter the big boss room, and it's a rage devil. And this was really fun. It's really scary for them, and they are fighting this at a disadvantage because they all took damage already. They're not all healed up, and they are fighting this big hulking beast. As soon as they enter the room, they hear chanting, and from the distance, like, 'cause it's a huge room. And our orc runs across the room. He's like, sprint across the room. So he sprints across the other room. And as he does, this rage devil has a maul. And he bats him, bam, across the room. So the next thing they see coming out of the dark is the half-orc flying through the air, landing at their feet. Just took a huge hit by this thing. And he's like, don't go over there. And they can't go back up because, doors slam behind them, D&D, and here it comes. They hear boom, boom, and they like dragging, and it's this thing coming at them. They fight it. They eventually beat it, barely, and thank God for clerics, right? And they find another poem on like a statue. There's a poem. So they head to the last room, and when they enter this room, it's a big like stone door with an hourglass, and there's 4 pillars on each side of them, 8 pillars in total, and they have a candle, an oak tree, a dragon, a raven, a man, a sundial, and a rose. And they have to figure this out. And this is where that session ends because they could not figure this out. I tell all my players, take notes. Take notes the whole game. Everything I throw at you is for a reason. Nothing is an accident. Take notes. They didn't take notes of the one that the half-orc smashed. They took minor notes, but they couldn't remember everything on it. They wrote like Raven and whatever else was on it, like 2 other things, like candle and something, you know? So that's all they wrote. They thought that those were the important things. So they could not figure this puzzle out. We literally had to put it into our next session, which I'll get to eventually, guys. Thank you guys for stopping by. Like, comment, and subscribe like always. Catch you in the next one.